Good evening and welcome to This Week in Review. Tonight's stories include Greg Elliott dropped by our studio for his monthly report, Santa in the Studio, a great success, highlights from the AJM concert, and highlights from the SJCH Awards Night. These stories plus community events, the BBS Playbill, Off the Rack, and more coming up after this.
On the boards out there, guys. This is your territory, Grimson. Do your job.
Grimson.
Hello?
Hi, honey. What? Now? All right. The itsy bitsy spider climbed up the water spout. Down came the rain and washed the spider out. Out came the sun and dried up all the rain, and the itsy bitsy spider climbed up the spout again.
I love you, Daddy.
I love you too, sweetheart. Hey, it's my girl. You know, my daughter.
Love. Pass it on. A message from the Foundation for a Better Life.
On Sunday, December the 15th, BBS hosted their Santa in the Studio, and it was a great success. The program began at 2 p.m., and the BBS volunteers took phone calls until 4 p.m. There were a lot of phone calls from boys and girls wanting to tell Santa what they would like for Christmas. Approximately 20 of these calls were from out of town, and some were from out of the province. There was Michaela Anderson from Summerside, Caitlin Eyre from Corner Brook, Jared Keeping and Kiana Young from Stephenville, Drover and Ollie Dolman from St. John's, Jim and Alice Swift's granddaughter from Nova Scotia. We didn't catch her name. Kelsey Barry, also from Nova Scotia, and this is Aubrey and Marion Ann's granddaughter. Corey, Stefan, and Kristen Ann from Saskatchewan. These are Jack and Beatrice Ann's grandchildren. Brittany Young from Outlook, Saskatchewan, and this is Award and Loretta Young's grandchild. There was Kevin Osmond from Jackson's Arm, Belle and Cornelia Parsons' granddaughter from Labrador, Matthew Parsons from Corner Brook, Marigold from Stephenville, Marvin and Andrea from Ramia, plus many boys and girls from our own town. The most popular item this Christmas for the girls was the Rapunzel Barbie. Most of the boys wanted remote-control cars, snowboards, and games. We extend a big thank you to Santa and Mrs. Claus for taking part and taking the calls. Thanks also to the BBS volunteers for their help. On Monday of this week, Greg Elliott stopped by our studio for his monthly report. We have with us in our studio today Greg Elliott, the BDDB officer. Welcome once again, Greg.
Always a pleasure to be here. I think I missed last month. But
I think you did too.
It was a hectic past couple of months of trying to get a number of things on the go, but certainly not because we didn't think about being over, just that timing sometimes
that happens.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah,
but it's certainly a pleasure to be here.
I think November went and people just didn't realize it was gone.
Oh, it's great. Well, it's just like December, eh? I mean, it's here and almost over already. So.
Yeah. Anyway, right here we have the shed project.
Yeah, people might recall, I think a number of months ago we discussed the potential expansion of the government shed, and of course, as everybody's well aware, at this point in time, Seacrest is actually doing renovations to the existing facility. We did obtain money from Ministry Trade and Rural Development through the Minister's Office for towards the expansion, and of course we did do some site work. However, we've had to go to HRDC for financial assistance as well to make sure that this initiative is a reality, and of course we're looking at potentially putting three different initiatives in the expanded facility. What it looks like now, it'll still go ahead, but unfortunately due to the time of year and a number of other circumstances, we're probably looking at this project being initiated sometime in April. All things being equal, it certainly doesn't hurt anything that we're trying to do. The ferry terminal, I know the people in Ramsey and places that frequent the ferry service will certainly be a little bit disappointed because we were hoping to have that facility in place by the new year, but due to circumstances, it's just impossible at this point in time. But I can assure people that it will be moving ahead, and we're looking at now the early part of April to start, and we do have the blueprints and plans already in place and done, and of course we do have approval from government services in terms of the actual construction permits and things of that nature. So it will be a reality. It's just
ready
timing
to go.
right now.
Yeah, in April.
Yeah.
Okay, sea urchins.
Yeah, as people will recall, I mean, the last year or probably 2 years, I've been talking about the sea urchin development on and off, and it's certainly been our goal to look at a processing facility here in Burgeo that could employ upwards of 25, 30 seasonal positions. We've had some major hurdles to overcome. As a matter of fact, just 2 weeks ago, we had a meeting with RMP as well as our MHA, and we also brought in the MHA for the Ramsey region because it actually affects those three individuals from a political point of view as well as geographical, and we just put everything on the table and what's transpired here in the last year and a half. The block has been Department of Fisheries and Oceans. They envisioned this initiative as primary processing. There was a policy developed in 1992 that stated that DFO would not support any initiatives that created new employment or new activity within the primary processing sector. But that all came about through the moratorium in 92, and really it was directed at the ground fishery. And we've been fighting that case for over a year now. As a matter of fact, I don't know if I mentioned it, but in latter September I met with Mr. Jerry Byrne, the Minister for OCOA, and explained that situation as well. We've gone back to OCOA, and we've looked at a number of gamuts of things. It's still our philosophy and belief that we can put a primary processing facility for sea urchin here. And right now, actually, I'm pleased to say that DFO has agreed to take a second look at this. And that's a major hurdle in itself. As the mayor said one night when I did the report, if you can get DFO to open up a file a second time after saying, no, we're not going to do something, then there might be some validity to it. So we're hoping that in the next month or so, and our board has made it a priority that we want to know one way or the other. It's something that we've worked on continuously, and I think our board is just to the point now saying, look, either we're going to get on and get something done with that and the agencies are going to support it, or please tell us that it's not going to happen here, and then we can do whatever with the fall and let the people in the community know that, hey, it's off the table, and then if somebody else wants to try and move into it, then the way to go. Our biggest problem is that that type of operation is so marginal, like the Bilberries of the world and Dailies and them to want to get into it. I mean, those people are into making, you know, substantial profits. Yeah. The sea urchin industry is marginal. Yes, there can be profits, but you're not talking about big dollars. And that's why nobody is, you know, if anybody's wondering, well, how come nobody's coming down here and personally investing in it? It takes roughly between $300,000 and $400,000 to put that facility in place. If somebody is to put their own private investment in, it's going to be a long time before they even see the return on their investment. And that's why, you know, we can't attract a private investor. It's got to be done through the development board here locally, and hopefully we can put all the infrastructure in place. And we do still have a proponent that's willing to come in and privately operate this. But again, it's putting all the capital equipment and assets in place to make this a reality. So, you know, we're going to work through it. And I know our board has told the MP and the MHA and them that, you know, we need an answer within the next month. So do the people in the community. There's no sense pretending that we're trying to get involved in the sea urchin industry. In reality, we just can't do it. You know, either we're into it or we're not. I will say our MHA has been very supportive. There's a couple of action steps that he's prepared to move forward on, but what we've done is because DFO has agreed to look at the file again, we've told him and our MP to basically put things on hold because the MP has agreed again to go back and talk to the minister, the Federal Minister of Fisheries and Oceans, to see what might be done at that end. He's after meeting with him twice and just can't seem to move that policy one way or the other, right? And so anyhow, that's where we're to today. We do have support from our local politicians, and we're going to work through the process with DFO right now, see what comes out of it. And I think the last kick, if you excuse the pun, will be our MP and our MHA doing their things from provincial and federal level. And hopefully by the end of January, I'll be able to come in here and say, look, it's either on the table or it's off the table. Let's hope that it's on the table, because there's a quality resource in this region. It's a new resource, it's an underutilized species, and we've done the gamut here to explain to people, you know, what's, and my frustration comes is if we've done all this work on identifying an underutilized species, we have created a few jobs, and you know, there's a harvester and a couple of divers here, and same way in Ramsey that are actually working at the industry. And if we can't put that infrastructure in place, then what happens with any other types of underutilized species that we might identify? It's going to be the same thing over and over again. So, I mean, we really want DFO to look at that policy, and it has to be changed, because it's not only going to affect us down here. You can imagine other communities around the province that might want to get in this type of initiative and just won't be able to. And private investment is just not there for it, because, I mean, return on investment at the end of the day is going to be very marginal. So anyhow, you know, just to inform the public, that's where we're to. And we did have a meeting with the local harvester and diver a couple of weeks ago to explain the situation with them, and I've kept our proponent fairly well up to speed on it. And it's something to us that's very tangible. The Bay of Islands, which is a partner with us, just finished the resource identification program up there, because part of the process is that for them to be harvesting a resource in the Bay of Islands, the Corner Brook region, and ship it down here for processing. So we get 3 or 4 regions of the province and the West Coast coming here to Burgeo, the primary process. It won't be as much a strain on the resource here. And we think it could become a very viable industry. And there's lots of things that can be done with it, such as ranching and even aquaculture at the end of the day. And we have a good quality resource down here. I mean, the harvester here and the divers are getting, you know, a fair dollar for their efforts and whatnot. So, unfortunately, we're shipping it up the road, creating jobs somewhere else again.
Yeah, again.
So, you know, hopefully we'll be able to do something with it, one way or the other.
Okay. Let's move on now to short-term projects.
Yeah, we received a letter about 3 to 4 weeks ago from Municipal Provincial Affairs. We did apply for funding for an initiative, and it was approved a couple of weeks ago. It's for brush cutting on the Burgeo Road between the 90-degree turn and, of course, the junction Trans-Canada Highway. We've held off on it due to the simple fact that we've been talking to Municipal Affairs. This time of the year is not necessarily the most optimal time to be getting involved in brush cutting. So we've had different negotiations, and not negotiations, I should say, discussions, because we wanted to actually use that money for possibly some other community initiatives that we could do within the Burgeo area. We've been told at the end of the day, point blank, that the money's for brush cutting and you must do brush cutting. That there's over 200 projects in this province doing brush cutting and nobody seems to have a problem. And I said, well, you know, that might be okay for the Avalon Peninsula or some places where they don't get as much snow up in that area as we do. But basically it's a situation where we use the money or there's nothing else we can do with it. So people have noticed in the last week or so we have put the jobs advertised out. We are looking at starting the 6th of January. It'll be roughly a day and a half orientation session, and then from there the crew would actually be up cutting certain sections between that 90-degree turn and the junction. We have stressed it a number of times to the, if you want, the bureaucrats as well as the politicians, that look, if you got that kind of money, the project is definitely needed. There's nobody that'll question doing roadside cutting on that section of the Burgeo Road. It's getting worse all the time, and it's becoming a major safety hazard. But to do it this time of year, it's going to create a lot of problems and a lot of grief even for the people working at it. So all we can do is we'll put them up there, and hopefully these people, and I know they will anyway, will do their best and you know, whatever they can do, and you know, we'll go from there. But we're looking at probably 10 to 11 weeks work, and we'll see what unfolds from it. But it's certainly not the optimal time for anybody.
No, not in dead of winter, brush cutting. Anyway, moving on to the kiosk sign.
Yeah, we've the kiosk as a whole, that development has certainly proved very positive for us, and of course we're doing this in partnership with the Burgeo Tourism Committee. We have put notices out to local businesses, organizations that have been advertising on the kiosk sign. We've had some problems over the last couple of years with people basically paying their advertising fees for that sign. And what's happening now, or what's going to happen, is actually the funds that we generate from that advertising is actually going to assist in maintaining and operating that kiosk facility during the summer months. And we saw the benefit of it already, even though it was only open for 6-7 weeks this past summer. I mean, it didn't open until the middle of July, but we got a lot of good reviews from it. The comment books were just fantastic, and people stopped in and viewed the facility and the information that. So we're really encouraging people now that have advertising. We will be sending out another letter and encouraging people to pay their fees, you know, for basically their back fees, as well as, of course, the 2003 fees, because there's no sense in us trying to get that facility ready to go in mid-June sometime, and all of a sudden we're wondering where we're going to get the dollars to be able to operate the facility. It's been agreed through the Ramsey Tourism Committee and through the local tourism committee here in the BDDB. We will be putting in more manpower than we had last year. We'd like to have that thing basically operate 24/7 from the middle of June till the end of August for sure. And I think with 3 of us working together, we'll certainly have that facility manned pretty well around the clock. I won't say around the clock because it'll be roughly from 9 in the morning till about 9 at night, 7 days a week, and that's our goal. But obviously there's a cost associated with operating the facility, and we're just encouraging people to basically make sure any outstanding balances they have in regards to those fees. And the other thing that we're getting as well now is I'm actually getting more people, local businesses and organizations, wanting to put their names on the advertising sign. So I mean, our ultimate goal is, well, if somebody's not paying their fees, and we have to take their name off, and we'll replace it with somebody else's. So, and we really don't want to do that. Obviously, somebody's committed to putting the advertising there, and it's a great promotional tool.
Certainly is. It's a great spot to stop and have a break as well.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, I think that's it. The board's, I know we had a general discussion at our last meeting. The board's annual general meeting will be coming up in April, but certainly we'll inform the general public about that as it comes along. There will be a couple of members that have been there for a fairly long period of time who's already expressed their thoughts that they're going to get involved in something else, and after 5 or 6 years involved in the development board, that's certainly understandable. So certainly there will be calls for people interested to get involved in the development board. And we'd certainly encourage anybody, general public that might be interested at all to stop in, and they can discuss what the role of the board is and how they might be able to get involved.
Okay.
And of course, on top of that, I'd certainly like to take the opportunity on behalf of the board to wish you and your staff, and certainly the people of Burgeo, a very safe and enjoyable holiday season, and hopefully in the new year we can start moving a few of the things we've got planned forward.
Okay, well, thanks very much for coming in, Greg.
Pleasure to be here.
On Tuesday of this week, the A.J. Matthews Elementary School held their annual Christmas concert. The school gym was filled with proud parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, and friends, all eager to watch their special boy or girl perform. Each class had the opportunity to do a skit, poem, or sing a song. All the students were dressed in their finest Christmas clothes. Here we look at Miss Marlene Vetcher's class doing Christmas symbols, and one of the students having a little trouble putting his decoration on the tree.
We can place either star or an angel on top of the tree. The angel reminds us of the angel that sang the news of baby Jesus' birth. The star that led the wise to the place where baby Jesus was born. Which shall we use?
The concert will be shown in its entirety at a later date. On Wednesday, we went to the shed at the government wharf to see how the work at the Seacrest salt fish plant was coming along. Since our last visit there has been considerable amount of work completed. Now there are 5 workers to do the work. In this part of the shed is where the hopper will be located. The fish will be put on a conveyor belt that will take them to 2 splitting tables. From there, the fish will go into the chill room. The production area and the chill room will be separated by a sliding door. As you can see, the chill room is nearly completed except for the lighting. It is insulated with 5-inch styrofoam and topped off with white vinyl siding on both the walls and the ceiling. This bay door has been completely covered. However, Liz Iscott did tell us that if they ever needed access to the door, they will be able to do so. In this part of the saltfish plant, work is continuing. The workers were busy putting up vapor barrier and insulation in the ceiling. The ceiling of this building will be the floor for the top of the building, and it has been reinforced. This room will be done with vinyl siding on the walls and ceiling as well. Liz informed us that this was great for keeping clean. Work is expected to be completed on this in about another month. Lump roll is the first processing expected to be done at this facility, providing there is some lump to harvest this year. This fishery will begin in April. We look forward to April to see the first lot of processing being done at this salt fish plant. On Thursday of this week, the St. John's Central High School hosted their annual awards night. The Sea Cadet Band opened the evening with O Canada. Master of Ceremonies for the evening, Freeman Ann, Student Council representative, welcomed everyone to the annual awards night. Reverend Russell did the invocation. Mayor Ann welcomed everyone and wished them a very Merry Christmas on behalf of the town. Joanne Clark, assistant to our MHA, Calvin Parsons, brought greetings on his behalf. Miss Dina Marsden spoke on behalf of the school council. Student Council President Ingrid Strickland welcomed everyone and told them about the purpose of the Student Council. Next was Mr. Linehan with the principal's message, followed by the presentations of diplomas. Mr. Dunford was responsible for presentation of the scholarships again this year, and once again he did a great job. It's easy to see why he has been asked to present the scholarships. The evening continued with a presentation of the Principal's Award of Excellence Diploma, followed by the presentations of academic trophies and the presentation of the Governor General's Award. The Sea Cadet Band closed the evening with Ode to Newfoundland. The students stayed behind for a dance. The awards night will be shown in its entirety at a later date. Stay tuned for more of This Week in Review coming up after this.
Feel the flame forever burn, teaching lessons we must learn to bring us closer to the power of the dream. Feel the flame forever burn, teaching lessons we must learn to bring us closer to the power of the dream. Feel the flame, teaching lessons we must learn. It is the power of the dream that brings us where you are. To realize the power of the dream.
The Burgeo Lions Club hosted a pub night for the residents at the Calder Health Care Centre on Thursday. Family, friends, and residents of the Calder Health Care Centre gathered in the main sitting area to enjoy the music. Music for the pub night was provided by Joe Kosser, Junior Strickland, Owen Marsden, Clayton Mead, Albert Ricketts, and Max Compton. The Lions members were busy serving food and refreshment to the residents. On occasion, some of the Lions members danced with the residents who were able. This type of event is very important to the residents. It provides a way for them to socialize with others in the community. For the Lions Club, it is a great way to put their motto, "We serve," to good use. The residents seemed to enjoy the evening very much.
Merry Christmas to you all there. Santa Claus. Santa Claus.
Santa Claus, Santa Claus, you soup. Look. Hey? She's waving to you, love. She's waving to you.
Merry Christmas all there. Merry Christmas to you. Come on, Mary. Merry Christmas to you.
And but believe me,
He didn't get no gold, and the reindeer couldn't go. No. And I'm not gonna run over
Now over to Mayor Ann with the council report.
Good evening. I hope you're not all blowed away. We've been fairly lucky staying away from the snow, but we're sure getting our share of wind. I suppose from a council point of view, the good part about the wind over the snow is that we don't have to put the plows out to plow it. However, if we could get a little reprieve from this wind, I'm sure that many of us would appreciate it. However, life goes on. Burgeo Town Council held its regular meeting on Wednesday, December the 18th. We had 6 members in attendance. We had a very good meeting. It wasn't a real long meeting, but it was our last meeting for the year 2002. And as 2002 draws to a close, we haven't got all that much more good news to pass on to the residents of Burgeo than we had going into 2002. Several ventures have been tried, several ventures have failed. However, I suppose the only way to look at it is that 2003 is just around the corner, and like we always say, next year. Items up for discussion. Of course, the standard one now is our water treatment plant, which is the #1 priority for Burgeo. And it was only the previous day, Tuesday, December the 17th, that we held a meeting for a couple of hours. It started at 11 o'clock in the morning, and it was after 1 o'clock in the afternoon. We held meetings with the engineers and so on, expressed some of our concerns that we had with the water treatment plant, and we had the services of a I'll say a blue-collar worker who was quite well versed in water treatment, sewage treatment, and identified some concerns with our system, and we took them to the engineers, and so we sort of worked that out and worked through it there on Tuesday morning, and then had our meeting on Wednesday night. We went over some of that, and at the same time looked at what it's all costing, the town of Burgeo for this new water treatment system. Anyway, the bottom figure for phase 1 and phase 2, and what the town of Burgeo will be responsible for in paying back over a 10-year loan is $385,181. There was some mix-up how much it was going to be for phase 2 and so on, and that's what we've been working on over the last couple of months. However, we finally got it nailed down, and that's what we're going to be on the hook for, is $385,181. So as far as we know, that's taken care of and that's out of the way, and at the end of this we should have our system in operation when that amount of money has been taken care of. You know, really we're talking close to $3 million, but $385,000 is all that the town of Burgeo is on the hook for. Snow clearing, there was some in-house work had to be done with regard to the changeover and so on, with the work services and transportation doing part of the clearing and so on. So the town manager presented the town with some plan that's in the way there, and so therefore, there won't be no confliction between work services, transportation, and the town council. It's our understanding anyway that the first thing that work service and transportation does, if there's been snow during the night, they leave the depot out there by the government wharf. They go as far as Heron's Arm, return, and then go back in again. If during the day there seems to be some more accumulation and so on, if work service and transportation can't take care of it, then they will phone council and say that, you know, they're too busy and on the road, and they're not going to be able to take care of the road, and they will request council to do it, for which council will be reimbursed. I just want to point out that if you should see our plow on the main road traveling, because, you know, it's got to get say to Smalls Island, it's got to get to the side roads, and when it's doing that, it's got to travel on Reach Road and Centennial Street. So if you see our plow going there and the plow is down, it's not that he's really plowing the road, but council has agreed that if he's in transport from the garage, say over to Smalls Island, then why should he drive along with the plow up? Then he would drop the plow and just run along. So if you see that and say, oh, he shouldn't be doing that, no, that's not the case. Yes, as far as council is concerned, when he's traveling on that road, commuting from one side road to another, then by all means he should drop his blade and clear what snow he can while he's en route. Another subject up for we covered last night and was the work service and transportation contract. We finally got we had a memorandum of understanding, and now we've got the final contract with work services and transportation with regard to the government shed, and we dealt with it somewhat, and then it was decided that we would table it for another meeting and until we had had more information. The big concern with council right now is that the waiting room for the Ramia Ferry. You know, we're going to be very careful there that the Burgeo Town Council don't get on the hook in any way, shape, or form with regard to the upkeep, maintenance, operation, or anything of that waiting area. So we needed a little more information, so rather than, there's no big rush to get the contract signed, so therefore we tabled that for a later meeting. We were presented with a draft copy of our budget for the year 2003. It's a very difficult thing to do the budget for 2003. We were just taking a few figures and so on and estimating what it's going to cost to operate the new water treatment plant and so on. When the figures were all put together, we showed a deficit of $27,584. Now, you know, to make that balance, the town manager had taken that amount from a savings account which the council has, and you know, that's not a good way to run your business. And I'm sure we would all agree that any of you, if you're out there and you've got to go and take money from your savings in order to meet your everyday living, which is your lights, your water, your groceries, and so on. If you've got to take a couple $1,000s a year from your savings account to meet this, unless you've got a large saving account, the day is coming when you're going to run out. And when that runs out, what are you going to do then if your refrigerator goes, or your washer, or your car, or one thing and the other like that? You just don't take money from your savings to operate your home. And likewise, council, it's not a good thing for council to be taking money that it has put aside for other capital projects to meet the everyday operation of council, because it won't be that long before council will end up with needing a new truck, a new tractor. Some capital works project will go and there won't be nothing there. So, you know, that is not the way to go, and there's no one got enough in savings that they can offset current account operating expenses from a savings account. So, you know, council looked at that, and then there's the electricity, which is going to be the biggest cost we estimate at the new water treatment plant. And we feel that the engineers should be just about able to, because they know what motors is there, they know what equipment is going to be there, so they should be able to tell us just about right on the amount of money that electricity is going to cost us to operate the system for 1 year. So we've asked the town manager to go there and see if he can't get some reliable figures from the engineer on this. Another thing is, the big question mark is, do we need an operator? And that's the question we can't answer yet. You know, you're looking at a $3 million facility. Do we leave it to whosoever will go and look out to it? Is that the way to go? Because you save a few bucks on salaries and then you end up with a fortune in maintenance. So therefore, that's another thing which we've got to consider, and maybe we need a part-time employee. We don't know that. So we're going to look for some more information there before we make a decision on the budget. And make no mistake about it, I think we may as well not kid ourselves that, you know, we probably are looking at an increase in water rates. Now, I know the Department of Municipal Affairs, it was only in the early part of November, we were in Corner Brook, and the minister gave a talk on this subject then, and as far as he is concerned, that I'm pretty certain he's going to be looking for every municipality that's got a good water system, that it's going to cost them $1 per day for their water. Now, you know, that might seem like a lot, but if you was to go into one of the stores and buy a little bottle of this bottled water, it'll cost you over $1. And if you was to buy one of these containers at the two outlets that you can go buy the bottled water at Aaron Burgio, I believe it's 75 cents for this 2-liter jar or whatever it is there. And there's nothing wrong with those prices. That's good. That's good competitive prices. Prices the same as they are anywhere. But, you know, if you had to go and get water from that source, or even at Long Pond, or not Long Pond, but at Beaver Pond, and if you had to go and get enough from either the store or from Beaver Pond to flush your toilet, take a shower, and one thing or the other, I think you would find that it would be way, way in excess of $1 per day. Now, I'm not saying that we're going to go to $1 per day. Don't get me wrong there. But I think I may as well just break the ice a little bit right here tonight, that we probably are looking at some increases in the water rates. And I think that's all that's all there is to be expected. The one thing which we got in our favor this year, that we got a couple of debentures which are coming, will be paid up this year, which will result in a saving of $32,000 to council. So, you know, that's where it sits right now. Things are up in the air with regards to the budget. We're trying to keep it down. We're trying to meet our budget with the least cost to you, the taxpayer. However, there's only so much we can do, and I think we've all got to be realistic and realize that there's very few homes in Burgeo that once you start getting good water, when this new system comes on stream, the discoloration problem will be taken care of. The THMs will be gone. The amount of chlorine in your water will be gone down. So you will be getting a good water. And I think most of us will agree that when you can stop having to go to Beaver Pond to get your water, and you can stop having to go to the store to get bottled water, then even if it does go to $1 a day per household, you know, it's still not a bad deal, and you still will have savings as compared to the other alternatives. Anyway, we've got to wait and see. Invoices in the amount of $11,563.59 was presented for payment and was approved. And that was just about it. I just pass on to you that during the week I did have a visit to the Seacrest operation out there on the point. The work there is just about all completed. In fact, if what I saw there, you know, they got the walls and the ceilings, and that's in the storage area, and in the production area, the walls and everything is being done, and the floor is just about, is finished. It's just a little touching up and so on, and that place will be ready for operation. Really, as I saw it, if the fish was available the 1st of January, I think then that facility is ready. So I don't think we're going to have very many delays there. And I guess that's it from Council for this week. However, I'm sure many of you will be having your family joining you during this Christmas season. And I hope that you will spend it in a family way and enjoy yourself and enjoy your family. And on behalf of the Burgeo Town Council, I would like to wish each and every one of you a very, very Merry Christmas. May you have a healthy and happy 2003. Good evening.
Canadian Red Cross advises us to think twice, thin ice. With the cold weather finally upon us, outdoor enthusiasts are hitting the slopes, trails, lakes, and rivers to enjoy winter activities like snowmobiling and skating. But with the fluctuating temperatures, thin ice can pose a serious threat. The Canadian Red Cross encourages everyone to be aware of the risks before eating out this winter. The Canadian Red Cross warns that any activity on ice can be a risky venture. People need to be aware that ice thickness may vary, so keeping your eyes and ears tuned to changes in ice condition as well as weak or dark patches is really important. Ensure adequate ice thickness first. 15 centimeters for walking or skating, 20 centimeters for skating parties or hockey, and 25 centimeters are recommended for snowmobiling. Ice is not safe when it forms over any moving bodies of water, including rivers, streams, and lakes with currents. Some municipality departments include recreation, police, and fire departments measure ice thickness on local lakes. Find out if this service is available in your community. Ice rescue. Use a hockey stick, pole, rope, belt, or scarf to reach out to a person who has fallen through the ice. Try to avoid venturing on ice yourself, but if you must, roll or crawl out, lay flat, and stay a safe distance from the edge of the ice. Hypothermia is a silent killer. If hypothermia occurs, keep the victim warm, dry, and still. Take the patient to the hospital immediately. Never give alcohol to a person with hypothermia. Be prepared. Prepare before going outdoors to know what to do if the weather changes quickly. Dress in layers and wear a hat. 60% of the body heat is lost through the head. Check the weather forecast and always tell someone where you are going and when you will be back. The Canadian Red Cross adds that snowmobilers are particularly high risk when it comes to unstable ice conditions. The best place for snowmobiling is on land, but if traveling on ice is avoidable, drivers must ensure adequate ice thickness and wear a personal flotation device. Snowmobiles can travel at high speeds, and drivers may not have time to spot danger and react properly. For more information about ice safety and winter preparedness, call your local Red Cross. On Friday of this week, St. John Central High School held their Christmas talent show. Friday was the last day of school before the Christmas break. Students took the opportunity to celebrate by putting off a talent show. Any student was welcome to sing a song and entertain their fellow students. Also on Friday, the School Snack Program Committee did up goodie bags and visited each classroom, including the preschool class, and drew one student's name from a bag, and that student was given goodie bags, which, by the way, contained all nutritious snacks. Here are some highlights from the talent show.
Make me feel extremely bad. So anyways, I just went home to sit and practice the song. So it's a song by Dixie Chicks, and it's called Loving Her. You can see me now, the one who says that she'll ever go, the one who says she'd rather be alone. If you could only see me now, if I can hold you now, just for a moment, if I could really make you mine. Just for a while, turn back the hands of time. If you could only hold me now. And I've been too long in the wind, and too long in the rain, taking any comfort that I can. Looking back and longing for the freedom of my chains, lying in your loving arms again. If you can hear me now, singing somewhere through the long nights, dreaming of the arms that held me tight. You could only hear me now. And I've been too long in the wind, and too long in the rain, taking any comfort that I can. Looking back and longing for the freedom of my chains, lying in your loving arms again. And I've been too long in the wind, and too long in the rain, taking any comfort that I can. Looking back and longing for the freedom of my chains, and lying in your loving arms again.
The SJCH Talent Show will be shown in its entirety at a later date. We have a Christmas message from our MHA, the Honorable Calvin Parsons. The audio on this message is a little low, so you may have to adjust your volume.
Hi, this is Calvin Parsons, your MHA. I'd like to take this opportunity to wish all of my friends, all the residents and constituents of Burgeo a very Merry Christmas. Take time to be with your families, with your friends, and with your neighbors, and particularly to those of you who have loved ones visiting for the Christmas season, may it be enjoyable, hospitable, and most of all, safe. I look forward to representing you again in 2003, and as you know, you can contact me or my staff at any time that you may require my assistance. I wish you all an enjoyable season, good luck, and good health in 2003. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Stay with us for Off the Rack, the community events, and the BBS Playbill, all after this.
It's a land with over 10,000 miles of coastline, thousands of inlets, coves, guts, and bays. A land that lives by the sea. No wonder our dogs have webbed feet. Imagine that.
Off the Rack. This week as we scanned our tape rack, we came across a tape of when Burgeo experienced extremely high tides, high winds, and some storm damage. Let's look back to January 30th, 2000. BBS Playbill. Next Sunday at 6:30 p.m. we will have religious revelations from the Anglican Church. And I'll be here again next week with this year in review. Before we go, we would like to remind the BBS cable subscribers that beginning January the 1st, 2003, the cable fee will increase from $20.50 to $21. This 50-cent increase is a result of a decision made by the Board of Directors of the Burgeo Broadcasting System in December 2000. For this week in review, I'm Marie Rose. Good night and God bless. And we wish you a very Merry Christmas.